Hey guys, it's Kayla from Killing It With Coupons, and this is the first week that I am doing my freezer dinners to share with you guys. I've been doing these for quite some time, and depending on when this video is up, I will have already had my Chat With Me Sunday up, or it will be up by this Sunday. I'm not sure when I'm going to get this uploaded. Whenever the Chat With Me Sunday about how I do my freezer dinners is up, I will link it in cards or in the description down below for you guys. Because I do my freezer dinners just a tad bit different, I guess, than a lot of the online blogs and stuff like that. I tweak mine just a little bit, and again, I'll share that with you guys all in that Chat With Me Sunday. But this is the first week that I'm going to share with you guys what it costs to prepare my freezer dinners. Last week I did this on my blog. I'm also going to do a blog post as well, but I also wanted to do a video as well, since some people are more visual learners than, you know, and sometimes too, you don't always have the time to read out a blog post. You want to watch it. And so that's why I'm doing two, both on my blog over here, or on my videos, and then also on my blog too. So for the first thing this week that I'm going to make slow cooked pork tenderloin. And now mine's a little bit different. I'm actually using a pork roast instead, and I'll again share that with you guys. I will also link down below all of the recipes that I end up using for this week, because I'm not going to share with you guys the whole recipe details and stuff like that on how to make it and prepare it and whatnot. Just again sharing with you guys the frugalness, I guess, of doing my freezer dinners and how I'm able to actually save money by doing these instead of, you know, buying pre-packaged and pre-made things and stuff like that. I pre-make these so that I can save money, but I will link all the recipes down below. None of these are my recipes. They're all from other websites and things like that. Again, I will go into more depth about my freezer dinners when I do that video with the Chat With Me Sunday about how I do those, and then also to how I'm actually able to organize all of my recipes that I do use. So I'm making first two of these, like I said, the slow cooked pork tenderloin, and these are all of the ingredients that I'm going to need. So this week I got these two pork roasts on sale at Valley Produce, and they're both right around right a little bit over 4 pounds. This one I ended up paying $4.09 for and $3.97, so they're just a couple cents difference in there. Then I'm also going to need some chopped garlic, some soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, red wine vinegar, chicken broth, a large onion, ground pepper, and also some of this onion soup, these packets as well. So again, I'll let you guys know the total of all of these items and what they end up costing me. I've got my 2 bags laid out here. As you guys can see, this is what I normally write on them, just what they are. Then I also like to add the date in there too, and then also what to cook it on. So what I do is, this is actually a great big help for me. I'll put the bag inside of these, and then I will put all the ingredients in there, and it's helpful because it stands up and it doesn't end up spilling all over the place. I know that you can buy some, like they actually sell freezer dinner bag holders so that you can stuff all of your ingredients in there without it spilling all over the place. This was like from an old, I think it was like an iced tea maker that my mom used to have, and we don't have any of the other pieces other than the pitcher part, and it's actually perfect because it's nice and large and will fit my ingredients in there very well. So that's what I use, and again, like I said, you could probably find one of those, or again, if you just have a large pitcher, it's very helpful. So I'm going to do 2 of these, and I'll show you guys them once they're finished. The first 2 freezer dinners are done, and this one sprang a leak, so I had to double bag it. But I guess I wanted to add a little bit of a disclaimer, only because I've made this recipe probably about 3 or so times since like summer, and this will probably be the 4th time I've done it. And typically what I will do, because it calls for 2 cups of red wine, and you guys saw I used red wine vinegar. Now what I'll do is, it calls for 2 cups of red wine and 2 cups of chicken broth. I use 2 cans of chicken broth, which you can substitute for red wine as well, and it will be about, the 2 cans are a little bit under 3 cups, and then I will use 1/4 of a cup of red wine vinegar, which does have a little bit of a different taste, obviously, since it is red wine vinegar, not red wine. So like I said, I've used this recipe a couple times before, and my family actually says this is one of the more flavorful pork roasts that I've made in the freezer dinners. So that's just the way I've substituted it. Sometimes I will also use balsamic vinegar as well instead, since it's more of a sweeter vinegar. And so those are just the way that I end up substituting it instead. So next up, guys, I have got the chicken cacciatore, and with this, the recipe that I will link again down below has got it with, I think it's like right around a pound that you're supposed to use of the chicken breast. And then you, I think, shred up the chicken or whatever, or however you want to serve it, and then you do it over noodles. However, I am doing, since I got bigger packs of chicken breast, I'm just doing kind of like a pasta-y chicken, you know, pretty much like that. It's just not going to be served over noodles, because again, I did get such large chicken breasts, so it's going to be kind of like vegetables. I'm going to go a little bit more in on the vegetables and instead do that with chicken and not do it over any noodles. So because like I said, I got the bigger chicken breast, or bigger size chicken breast, so it ended up being 3 pounds for each. This one's a little closer to 4 pounds. It's a little bit more than 3.5. So I'm doing those instead, and like I said, it's just going to be more of a chicken based chicken cacciatore, I guess. And then I have also got 2 zucchinis, and then these are the peppers that I cut up last week. I am going to use these most likely, because I normally cut them up and we use them for snacking and stuff like that. Whatever we don't end up using, I then throw in like freezer dinners and stuff like that. So I'm not going to use all of these up, because I do have to make some breakfast potatoes, and I add in some bell peppers into breakfast potatoes. So again, I'll share all that with you guys too, but I'll probably go in a little bit more with the bell peppers. And then I've also got 2 things of marinara sauce, and then also a sweet onion. So I think the recipe calls for red or green. I'm not sure. It calls for one of them, but I'm using a little bit of both. So that is what I'm going to need for this recipe. Chicken cacciatore is done, and I ended up adding probably about maybe a bell pepper and a half to each bag of both red and green bell peppers. So in total, it's probably close to about 3 or so bell peppers. And then also to the sweet onion, I ended up cutting in half because it was a very large one, and I used a little bit of it last week for my soup. So I had pretty much most of it left over because I only needed a little bit. But these are done, like I said, the 3, you know, almost 4 pounds or so of chicken breast. These will make for nice, you know, just like chicken and veggies kind of, and it's also more carb friendly now instead of using the noodles, doing it over noodles. The last 2 freezer dinners of the evening that I will be making are the black bean taco soup. So what I've got is a little over 3.5 pounds of ground chuck, and I'm going to split this in half for the 2 recipes. It'll be a little bit under 2 pounds each. And then I've also got homemade taco seasoning that I'm going to use, 2 cans of black beans, 1 for each, 2 cans of tomato sauce, again 1 for each, 2 cans of crushed tomato, also 1 for each, and 2 cans of green chilies, 2 onions, and also whole kernel corn as well. So that is the last ingredients that I will need to whip up my last 2 freezer dinners. I am done with the last 2. These are both the black bean taco soups, and it's kind of like a chili a little bit when it freezes, and then it ends up defrosting. It does create a little bit more liquid, but it's definitely very thick black bean taco soup. And I did substitute, it calls for stewed tomatoes, I believe. I substituted for crushed tomatoes because that's what Aldi has, so it changes the texture just a little bit, but not too much overall. So those are my last 2 freezer dinners that I finished up for this week. These are all 6 of my freezer dinners that I got done for this week. Again, the 2 black bean taco soups, 2 chicken cacciatores, and the 2 slow cooked pork roasts. So now I'm going to get all of these into my outside freezer. We have a chest freezer out in our garage, so it's very convenient for me to be able to stock up and store all of our freezer dinners. The next thing that I am going to do is do my veggie and my produce prep and my fruit prep, I guess, for the week. And basically what I like to do is cut everything and chop everything that I'm gonna need for vegetables all at one time in one day. First off, it only ends up dirtying 1 knife and 1 chopping board, and I just rinse them out in between uses, going, oh, you know, I'm gonna need the asparagus or whatever for today, and I gotta cut it for, you know, dinner tonight or whatever. I do it at the beginning, you know, or prepping the Brussels sprouts or whatever that I'm doing. So what I'm doing is basically I just chop everything up that I'm gonna need. Also doing breakfast for this week, and I'll share that tomorrow because I am just not gonna have enough time to get to the breakfast for tonight because it is right about 8 o'clock right now, and I'd like to actually get up early tomorrow. So I'm going to do the breakfast prep stuff for tomorrow, and I'll share that with you guys. But for the produce, I got, you know, a decent amount of produce for this week. So, you know, fruit-wise, too, I will chop everything up so that we can have it for snacks. And then also, too, normally at the end of the week, I end up throwing whatever fruit we have left over into one big bowl and make a fruit salad at the end of the week so that whatever produce didn't get eaten up or whatever fruit ended up not getting eaten up, I can throw anything into a fruit salad. Matthew will just eat it all up. So for some reason he doesn't like things when they're individually, you know, if I just have cantaloupe or whatever, but sometimes you just want just cantaloupe or whatever. So I will, you know, like I said, chop everything up. So I'll share that with you guys, and like I said, I will do the breakfast tomorrow. So I've got 4 oranges. These were actually oranges from last week that I'm also going to chop up. And then I've got some of the organic oranges from this week. I've also got asparagus that I'm going to prep, and these will be for my side dishes. So I'm going to do asparagus one day, Brussels sprouts another day. These are the red bell peppers. Now, I like to snack on these sometimes throughout the week, and I will, you know, leave those in a Tupperware, and then at the end of the week, I will add them to a freezer dinner, as you guys saw earlier, or else I add it to my breakfast potatoes, and they're super tasty, especially with bell peppers in there as well. And then the salad, I normally do it with either romaine, or else I will do a side salad for the whole week, and it just stays in the fridge. It's pretty much like having, you know, a bag of, you know, the whatever 99-cent salad from Aldi, and then I'll just chop it up normally and also do a tomato. Now, I didn't actually buy any tomatoes this week. This one was left over from last week, and sometimes they'll do it with cucumber too, but again, I didn't get cucumber this week. And then I've also got some zucchini, and I will do that for a side dish, and then also some cauliflower that I will also do for a side dish as well. So I've got 4 side dishes, which will be the cauliflower, zucchini, the Brussels sprouts, and the asparagus. So those will all be different side dishes. The cantaloupe and the oranges will be for snacking and stuff like that, as well as the bell peppers. So that's how I use my produce pretty much, and I'm going to chop all this up, like I said, and then just do a prep for the week so that I don't have to chop or prepare any of the vegetables or produce that I'm going to need for this week. A little less than an hour later, and I finished up with the veggie prep. So I did the oranges, those are for snacks mainly, and then the bell peppers, again, also kind of for snacking, and then those will most likely carry over into next week for either freezer dinners or breakfast, like I said. The side salad, normally I use more tomatoes, but again, I didn't get any this week. There weren't any on sale, and I forgot to add that to my list since I normally end up getting some, and also, though, I did have the one left over. So that's the side salad, and it's just a super easy salad, and, you know, it can add dressing over it, whoever wants specific dressings and things like that. My family's added sometimes like those chicken strips and stuff like that too to make it a little bit more protein based, but it's normally just for a side salad for dinners. And then also the cantaloupe I got all cut up, and that'll be for snacking. And then the cauliflower, I do a nice roasted cauliflower in the oven, and it will be most likely for a side dish. And then also asparagus, normally I will saute it in some garlic butter, and then with the Brussels sprouts, I will do sometimes something in the oven normally with them. I've done a couple different recipes now, and then also some zucchini I chopped up, and will most likely do something in the oven as well with those. So that is my veggie prep that I got all finished up for this week. So that finishes up my produce prep for this week. The other reason that I love doing produce prep too is it actually saves me a lot of space in my fridge, and you wouldn't really think so because I use the big Tupperware and stuff like that, but it's actually organized and I can find everything a lot easier, and it cuts down on a lot of space in the fridge. So for me, that's another reason why I just love doing it. And on top of that too, now my vegetables are done for the week too. All I have to do is, like I said, I'll have to throw in a couple of other ingredients, you know, like the garlic butter or whatever I'm using for whichever recipe, but I can just throw it in there and then my vegetables are already done. I don't have to worry about prepping them or cutting them or, you know, doing anything that I need to. They're all just ready to go. About an hour on a Sunday night, I was able to get all of that, you know, all the produce done. And then two, it took me maybe about an hour or two. I don't really know, because we actually, in between making those freezer dinners, I ended up having dinner tonight. And so I'm not sure exactly how long it ended up taking me, but most likely about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most, to do those 6 freezer dinners. And again, now those are done for the week, so I don't have to worry about anything else extra in my fridge. Really, everything else is all cleaned out of there. But tomorrow I will share with you guys my breakfast prep. I'm gonna do potatoes and then also do parfaits. So I'll share that with you guys in this next clip. Next day, guys, I am now making the breakfasts for this week, because I told you guys I didn't have enough time yesterday to finish it all up. So the first thing that I'm going to do is real quick whip up these parfaits. So I'll share with you guys. These are super simple and they take me literally about 3 minutes to make. Normally I try and do more berries. There were really no berries other than strawberries on sale this week. So I took 6 strawberries out actually, because I need them for my lunch, and I only have 1 package left because my brothers ate the other ones. So I have a little bit less than a full pound of strawberries here, and then I've also got my organic vanilla whole milk yogurt, and then also some protein granola, which is I actually got from couponing a while back, and I still have, I think, 1, maybe 2 bags left of these, and so I'm going to whip these up and I'll share with you guys how I do that. Parfaits are done, and like I said, normally I will add more berries if we had berries, but since strawberries was all we had, I ended up adding about 2 strawberries or so to each, and then again divided that big tub of the Greek yogurt, or the organic yogurt, between the 5 containers. Then I split up the granola and also put those into 5 little separate containers, because sometimes people don't like them super mushy, and so adding it all in at the same time is difficult. But I got these cute little, you know, Tupperwares that are fine, and they'll fit the granola. So these will normally end up not in the fridge, and then I'll just throw these in the fridge, and those will be breakfasts for, you know, Matthew and my dad prefer the parfait. So super quick, easy, and pretty inexpensive. So this is how I do my breakfast potatoes. Honestly, guys, I made these so many times now that I pretty much just customize them to however I kind of feel like doing them. This is pretty much all I will need, with the exception of possibly a little bit of olive oil to cook the potatoes in, but basically I just roast my potatoes in the oven along with some green and red bell peppers. These are the leftovers from last week, and mainly this will be for my breakfast. Now what I do is I've got a 3-pound bag of the yellow potatoes, and then also a little less than possibly about a pound. So I've got about 4 pounds in total, and this will make 6 breakfasts for 3 of them for whoever wants them, for the family basically, and then 3 of them will be for me. I will normally end up with most of the roasted peppers, and then I add over the top salsa, cheese, and then the eggs. So in my vegetarian meal prep, I'll share with you guys how I do mine, but for the family, I guess, the 3 that I'll be making for that, I do mine differently just because I can't have eggs. So I do this basically like a potato breakfast hash bowl kind of thing, and for mine, I do it mainly with the red and green bell peppers. For everybody else's, it's over eggs and the other ingredients. Finished the last of my breakfasts for the week. These are, again, the potatoes with eggs and the salsa and cheese as well, and I used about 6 eggs, so that was 3 in total. And like I said, I did not use all of the potatoes just for this. I ended up using probably about half, so it was probably about 2 pounds, probably actually a little bit less, maybe about 1.5 pounds between all 3 of these, and then I used the rest for myself. So these will also be 3 additional breakfasts for this week. So guys, I will talk to you all in next week's video. I will also have the complete breakdown price-wise on my blog. I'm not sure entirely how I'll end up doing this video. Again, I'm going to kind of play with the formatting for, you know, a week or 2 and figure out really how I like to edit these and post them and things like that, and what I'm going to include and stuff like that, and what's going to be on the blog. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys give it a big old thumbs up. And if you're new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next week. So bye guys.